Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to Neighborhood Unitarian Universalist Church in Pasadena. Welcome to all members, friends, and guests. My name is Mimi Hennessy, and I'm serving as your worship associate today. It's been probably 60 years since I wore a hat in church, but I thought maybe it was time to pull one out of the closet. Neighborhood Church creates and grows an inclusive community of faith connected by love, spirit, and service. We acknowledge that we are gathered here on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Gabrielino Tongva peoples, who have been the traditional caretakers of the lands and waters of this campus. With respect for the rights and wisdom of Indigenous people, we acknowledge the harmful colonial practices that brought us to this place, and we commit to decolonizing our own practices and learning new ways of being in community with each other, in good relationship with the Indigenous people of this land and with the land itself. Today's service is led by Senior Minister Reverend Dr. Omega Burkhart, with music led by Music Director Dr. Zenaida Robles, with the Associate Music Director Wells Lang, and the Neighborhood Chorus with soloist Tiffany Lantello. Please take a moment to silence your devices as we begin our service and spare yourself the embarrassment of having everyone turn and look at you. Families with young children are always welcome in the sanctuary, and there is additional seating in the entry foyer or narthex. I have two brief announcements. One, join us on November 17th after the service for the mid-year congregational meeting hosted by your Board of Trustees. There's additional information in this week's newsletter, and if you have questions, you can contact President James Coombs or any board member. Second announcement, bakers wanted. The bake sale is coming on Sunday, November 24th. We're looking for donations of baked goods. Funds raised will go to support our children and youth spiritual exploration. There's more information available in this week's newsletter, and it's always a delicious opportunity to acquire something special for Thanksgiving. More extensive announcements, as well as our order of service this morning, are available as a link in the Sunday email. The order of service is also available by scanning the QR code on the back of your hymnal. Again, welcome to Neighborhood Church, whoever you are and wherever you are in your spiritual journey. Welcome to this inclusive faith community connected by love, spirit, and service.
We need one another. We need one another to survive. We need one another to thrive. I'm honored this morning to be joined by two of our community ministers. The Reverend Christina Hsu and the Reverend James Ford will also be participating in the service this morning. We, the ministry team of this church, we are here for you. We are here for your surviving, and we are here for your thriving. Our colleague, the Reverend Victoria Safford, writes this: now and here in this unlikely, perhaps unreplicated, gorgeous world, this shimmering, sorrowing world, we exist together. No scientist, no sorcerer, no sacred text can ever fully tell us why or how it has happened, this existence. Whether we ask our whole lives long in the idiom of astrophysics or a child's bedazzled wonder, we are here now and we all belong. Beloved, we all belong. And therefore my work, she writes, however imperfect at the end of each day, my work and my joy is to strive to act accordingly as if in your presence, whoever you are, wherever on this earth you are, as if I were in the presence of the holy. I have no other words to describe it. This love that guides us, it calls us, it heals us, and it holds us in its hands. So come and let us be together, let us survive together, and let us thrive together this morning. I invite you to center yourselves this day. And consider these words that are so familiar to us. Breathing in and out. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind and rise in the sea. Move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots, hold me close. Wings, set me free. Spirit of life, come to me. Come to me. I invite us into a shared moment of silence.
please rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing our opening hymn, Spirit of Life. We will sing it in English and in Spanish. I'd like to invite all of the children and youth and young at heart forward for an experience. Good morning. Today, we're going to have a musical time for all ages, and it's going to require you to really listen. Listening can be more complicated than we think. It's hard to listen sometimes, especially when you don't like what you hear. Oh. So, first of all, we're going to make noises. I'm going to talk about warm-ups, dissonance, and unisons, right? So I'm a singer, like I love to sing, I love choir, I love music, right? Anybody in here like music a little bit? Oh, good, a lot of people. Not everyone, apparently. So, all right, that's important to know. As a singer, oftentimes, especially if you've studied has anyone studied voice? Has anyone studied classical voice? Or look, we do have some singers out. So y'all are like, okay, what does she got to say? We do warm-ups, right? Do you know what warm-ups are? Warm-ups are when you use your voice to kind of get it going, right? So I'll do like 3 warm-ups with you. And a lot of times one thing we do is we make silly sounds. Can you make a lip trill? Can you go like this? Do that. Good. Good. Pay attention. I didn't go. I went. Do that. That's different, right? Now listen, I'll do a different one. Good. Right? So we make silly sounds when we warm up, and that warms up our articulators, right? We also warm up our vowels. Everybody go, ah. Oh. Ooh. All those vowels are made with your lips, right? And your tongue is relaxed. Lick the back of your bottom teeth. Like, I like to think about my tongue staying there so that it's not tense. You don't want to have tongue tension while you're singing, right? And now say, yee. Yeah. Ah. Good, now go, yee. Good, right? Good, right? Good, choir. Good. Now, unisons. We like unisons. Many of us like unisons because they feel good because we're singing the same thing. I'm going to sing a pitch, and then I want you to sing it too. And I'll use solfege because it's something that many of us are familiar with, and it has hand signs that go along with that, and I like that. Do. Everybody sing do. If you listen carefully, most of us were singing the same pitch. And this is important because sometimes you don't always hear it. So you might have to try again. Do. I think that was better. I heard more voices singing the right pitch, or the pitch that I'm asking you to sing, right? Once we can sing the same pitches, we can kind of do a lot of things, right? What if I went do, re, do? Do that. Do, re, do. Listen again. Listen again. Do, re, do. Yes, yes. And many of you that had sung different pitches before, you sang the pitches, we sang more pitches together. Now, that's unison. We're all singing together. Now, here's dissonance. I'm going to prepare you I'm going to scare you a little bit. Oh! That didn't scare you. Thank God. Scared me. I didn't know what was going to come out. Okay. Here's another example. Oh, right? So I started someplace and I moved somewhere. We're going to try this. We're going to do this like, we're going to try to find unison, okay? So you're going to sing a pitch and you're going to hold it, and then you're going to try to come back to the C. Do you remember the C? Do you remember do? Sing do. Okay. Now you're going to pick a pitch. Whatever comes out of your mouth is okay, but we have to find C after a while. We're going to start out here, and then we're going to come together. Ready? And it should be forte because it's dissonant. Okay, ready? And do! Somebody straight away. Did you hear that? It was like, you went someplace else. You didn't want to stay. We didn't want to stay in unison. Do it one more time. This time, pick a different pitch. This time, sing it silently and then come together, okay? We're listening to each other, singing different notes and trying to see if we can come together. One other thing. This time, you can't come together until you see my fingers touch, okay? Pick a pitch and, wait. Some of you guys didn't go very far from do. You guys are like, be adventurous, go far away, and trust that you can find your way back, okay? Here we go. What did you notice? What did you notice? Did you notice anything interesting that happened? No? I noticed that many of us wanted to get together, wanted to get to unison as fast as possible. We don't like hearing all this dissonance, okay? Some of us wanted to hold out as long as possible to get to unison. But in the end, at the end of the day, we all can sort of figure out how to get there, okay? I think that's cool, personally, because I love doing harmony. You can do harmony, too. This time, we're going to do, this is the last time. This time, here's the D, here's the C, do. You can sing a note in the chord, do, mi, so, mi, do. You can even add a 7, do, mi, so, ti. You can add color notes, da, da, da. You can add the 9th. Pick a note. You can sing the tonic, the mediant, the dominant, the 7th, the 9th. Pick a note. One of those notes. We'll go out, and then we'll come together, okay? Ready? Let's see what happens. Ready, and. La, la. Good job. I hope that was interesting for you. Let's sing our young people out to their classes today. One, each person is worthwhile. Two, be kind in all you do. Three, we help each other learn. Four, and search for what is true. Five, all people have to say. Six, work for a peaceful world. Seven, no heaven flies the way. Eight, oppression has no place. That will bring us back to me and you. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, sol, do.
Good morning again. Each Sunday, our congregation dedicates 100% of the contributions to 501c3 organizations or neighborhood church-based social justice activities that are making a difference in our community and the world. Each selected guest organization aligns with our community's mission and values and is nominated by church members who often are longtime volunteers and supporters of these change-making organizations. You can donate in one of two ways. You can use your cell phone to donate by texting the number on the screen. Or if you prefer to donate in person, put your donation in one of the designated boxes during the music or after the service. There's a donation box here in front. There's a donation box in the back center and one in the narthex entryway on the table. Feel free to rise during the music to put your donation in the box if you wish. And please look around and extend help to those seated near you that might appreciate some assistance in reaching the donation box. If you wish to make a payment toward your pledge or contribute to church operations, make a note in the subject line or use an envelope available for that purpose at the donation boxes. This week, our gifts will support the UUA Disaster Relief Fund. Here with more information is Alex McAdams, I hope. Oh.
Hi, I'm a member of our Share the Plate committee. This might sound familiar because I forgot to write something this week, so I'll be reading what Nadia wrote for last week. Disasters are affecting our communities and congregations with increasing frequency and intensity. From wildfires that consume entire regions to hurricanes and floods that leave widespread destruction, people and their communities bear the impact. The damage is both physical and emotional, and while the waters may recede or fires extinguish, recovery requires time, effort, and resources. In the wake of Hurricane Helene in places like Asheville, North Carolina, and now the fires closer to home in Camarillo, we've seen the toll firsthand where homes, businesses, and places of worship have been devastated. The Unitarian Universalist Association, UUA, is committed to standing with congregations and supporting their recovery efforts in these difficult times. This is why the UUA Disaster Relief Fund was established to assist congregations, their members, and their community partners as they rebuild. This fund represents a covenant, a promise, between the UUA, the congregations, and the communities they serve. Through it, the UUA provides practical support in the aftermath of natural and human-caused disasters. Grants from the Disaster Relief Fund support essential needs like repairing damaged congregation buildings or securing temporary spaces for worship and gathering, supporting members or friends whose homes have been affected, assisting local organizations that provide vital services to those ineligible for other types of aid. With the generosity of Unitarian Universalists across the country, we're able to open our arms to congregations in need. Today, we ask for your support. Your donation can make a tangible difference in the recovery of those communities. Please consider giving to the UUA Disaster Relief Fund to help us meet these urgent needs. Thank you for embodying our faith and values through your generosity.
Thank you for giving generously.
Today, we ask that you refrain from applauding after our musical selections. Thank you. It's not the choir. We're going to start off with Tiffany's solo. Let's do that.
No one here to guide you. Now you're on your own. Only me beside you. Still you're not alone. No one is alone. No one is alone. Sometimes people leave you halfway through the wood. Others may deceive you. You decide what's good. You decide alone. But no one is alone. People make mistakes. Fathers, mothers, people make mistakes. Holding to their own, thinking they're alone. Honor their mistakes, everybody makes one another's terrible mistakes. Witches can be right, giants can be good. You decide what's right, you decide what's good. Just remember, someone is on your side, someone else is not. While you're seeing your side, maybe you forgot they are not alone. No one is alone. Hard to see the light now. Just don't let it go. Things will come out right now. We can make it so. Someone is on your side. No one is alone.
In this time, I find myself particularly thinking about the mysteries of relationship, how do we meet this moment? This moment that for so many of us is a harbinger of much ill. So, fair question, don't you think? I find questions that come from the dark places often invite the best answers. They pull deep truths out of us, kind of like those koans in the Zen tradition. A koan is a device that started being used in medieval China as objects for meditation, as well as subjects for conversations between followers of the intimate way, like us. Koan is an assertion about reality wrapped up with an invitation. I sort of think of us as the koan in that sense. And they can be like poems. A koan, one of those assertions that seems to me appropriate to this moment, to how we meet the world, however the world is meeting us, comes from a conversation between two early 9th century Chan monks that was then collected into a 12th century anthology of such pointers from the heart, the Blue Cliff Record. The setup. Yun Yan asked Dao Wu, how does Guan Yin, the mother of compassion, use all those hands and eyes? Kind of like us, Guan Yin is a body with many, many arms, many, many hands. She's the mother of compassion. Think Mary. Think the Divine Mother. Dao Wu answered, it's like feeling behind you for a pillow in the middle of the night. I understand. What do you understand? The whole body is hands and eyes. That's very well expressed, but it doesn't say it all. What would you say, dear one? All through the body are hands and eyes.
on Wednesday of this past week, I woke to the fierce wind blowing through the canyon where I now live in Tujunga. And the truth is, as a matter of self-preservation, I had decided the night before that I would not watch the election results, opting instead to try and get a good night's sleep so that I could prepare for whatever would come in the morning. In those early morning hours when I woke up and read the news, the wind was whipping through the trees on the hillsides around us. And I, maybe like some of you, sat on the edge of my bed in disbelief. The rays of the sun breached the peak of the mountains, but it didn't feel particularly warm or comforting. It felt cold and harsh, maybe even a little mean, or maybe that's just the meaning I'm ascribing to it now in retrospect. While I was sitting on the edge of the bed trying to motivate myself to launch into a difficult day, I heard a sudden crack followed by a boom, and our house rattled. My husband and I went room to room looking for the source of the noise, thinking it was probably something the cat knocked off a shelf, as cats do. But instead we found that a large tree in our front yard had been blown over by the wind into the front of our house. It's okay. I'll just state that. It broke 2 front windows and it damaged some siding and it smashed a few of the pumpkins that were still sitting out there from Halloween. Now, we stood in disbelief, not at the damage because that wasn't too terribly bad, but you see, on Monday afternoon, not even 48 hours before that, we'd had a tree service at our house for the day, trimming and removing branches from other trees, and the irony was that I had originally called the tree service for that very tree that had fallen, but we had opted to wait until the spring to take it down. Well, the wind and the tree decided it was time. Now, my family is fine, and our dogs and cats are fine, and the house will need a little repair, but that's easily taken care of. And you bet the tree service was happy to return on Wednesday and take care of that tree immediately. Within a few hours, our home looked pretty much like it had before, minus a few panes of glass and some smushed pumpkins on the walkway. But the old mimosa tree is gone. There is a hole where its roots had a long time ago, when it was young and healthy, those roots had dug into that dry earth. And a little bit of beauty was lost that day. It was whisked away neatly and expertly and sadly. As a religious naturalist, I find meaning and I find awe and I find the sacred in cycles of our lives as improbable, interconnected beings on this wildly improbable planet that's flying through space. I grieve that tree, but I also honor that its life had come full circle. While I had only known that tree for a short while, having just moved there this summer, I like to think that it had a long and happy life in front of that house where other families had lived before ours, where children had been born and grown up, where many appreciated its beauty as they drove down the mountainside every day for work. And while it had in its capacity the possibility of causing more damage or hurting me or one of our loved ones when it fell, it didn't. As this week has unfolded, many of us have struggled to come to terms with what has felt like an immense betrayal of all that we have held as good and right. We have been taught, we believe, and we have taught our children that the words of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. are true, that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. This week has shaken that belief for many of us. Some of us are grieving the surety of that phrase, perhaps. Some of us have been numb, or our anxiety or our anger has boiled over, or perhaps we've immediately jumped to blame campaign policy, those who didn't vote, those who seemingly have voted against their own interests, or any other number of possible responses to trauma and loss. And all of these reactions are normal and they're real. We can honor grief. We can respect it. And we can be tender with ourselves and others. We can choose what we can control, and we have to let go of the rest. Precisely because we've been shown that there is so much out of our control. I invite you to remain engaged, though. Start small. Even the smallest tasks now can help orient ourselves to this space and time. May we all remember to hydrate and take care of our bodies and attend to our mental health as much as we can. If you need to dissociate for a while and scroll on your phone and watch cat videos or the Great British Baking Show, go for it. But also, remember to stretch, to brush your hair, move your clothes from the washer to the dryer. They say preachers preach the sermons they need to hear. Don't disengage. Don't disengage. Find solace and joy and comfort where you can, whether that's a blanket fort or creating art or going for a walk with your dog. Lean into it. Start small for today. Tomorrow will come with its challenges, but for today, take care of yourselves. And also, know that no one can self-care their way out of a crappy situation. No one can self-care their way out of a bad time. There's no amount of hydration or eating well or applying SPF or wearing comfy shoes or meditating that will erase the threat of authoritarianism in our world. There is no amount of mindfulness that will erase autocracy or extractive capitalism. Don't give in to toxic positivity. Don't give in to toxic self-care, though. Do it because we're in this for the long haul. We are in this for the long haul to support one another. Care for yourself and those in your circle because it will help us build capacity and health for the long term. for the difficult period ahead of us. Grieve, but don't disengage. There's too much at stake for all of us and for those who will be most targeted by hate. The way through this is by metabolizing this anguish and numbness and the grief, and we have to build trust in ourselves and our guts first, and others. Don't ignore your grief or your anger. Process it, hold it, and be tender with yourselves. Create and support groups of trust that are connected to other groups, to other accountable groups. Foster trust that is growth-oriented, trust that is relational and outward-focusing, not toxic or insular or reactionary. These relationships of trust are and will continue to be life-giving. These relationships of trust are life-saving. As Daniel Hunter says in an article in Waging Nonviolence, all of us will actively benefit from organized nodes to help stabilize us. In a destabilized society, you need people to help ground you. Don't disengage. Think about how you can create and rely on groups of trust in your life. How can you reinforce interconnectedness and accountability? Hunter offers another piece of advice that I'm finding personally helpful, that I offer to you, because we can only do what we can from our locations where we are. He suggests that we not obey in advance, that we not self-censor. If you have it within your power and your privilege, and you feel mentally and spiritually ready for the task, use whatever you can to not succumb easily to hate. This is in part why I've been wearing my clergy collar since the election. Every day, to the post office, to get gas. It is a way that I can, within my power and my location, avoid self-censoring my person. A person of faith in a time of fragility and hate, in a time where hatefulness is using religion as a cudgel. I will not let authoritarianism and fascism co-opt symbols of religion to project hate onto other people. We ascribe powers to symbols, of course, and we can sometimes reposition them, and I honor that many have had traumatic experiences in their faith paths. And UUs have long been ambivalent about religious symbols, including clergy collars, but I wear proudly these symbols, not just for me, not just to remind myself of my sacred duty, but also as a representative of this faith community in our larger world, and to others, and to other people in a community, in a world where many have mistaken that being a people of faith means we are bent towards hate and exclusion. To this, I say no. We are here for love. We are here for love. We are here for inclusion. We are here as a sanctuary, yes, for ourselves, but for others also. Those who are lost, those who are afraid, those who are in danger. We are here for love. And it may be that here in Pasadena, in the state of California, we may have a privilege that others do not. And there may come a time for us to wield that privilege in other areas of the state or in other states. And believe me when I say this, we will. We will. We are a life-saving religion, and our community will be life-saving here and far beyond these walls of this building, because that is what we are called to do. That is what we are called to do. So, dear ones, I am reminded of that tree that fell this week in front of my house. It was felled by a wind that felt cold and brutal, and I will mourn that lovely tree, even though it was unstable and its roots had grown a little weary, and its fall revealed a wound in the earth. And next spring, I will probably plant another tree. I'll plant something else in that hole. Now, I'll need to take some time to figure out what a good selection will be, and I'll have to take the lead from gardeners who know the soils and the topography better than me, and I'll water it and feed it, and I'll nurture it for as long as I live in that house. I will do that. But not today. Today, I'm just sad that the tree is gone. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Ohio Congresswoman Shontel Brown reminds us, and I quote, "Like many of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s famous quotations, these words echo through the ages. They offer hope and give rise to a sense that progress toward freedom, equality, and indeed justice is inevitable. But the arc of the moral universe is anything but. It does not bend towards justice on its own. No. It only does so because people pull it towards justice. It is an active exercise. It is not a passive one. So today we will grieve, but tomorrow we'll make a plan to plant more trees whose blooming we might not see in our lifetimes. An active exercise, it's not passive. We'll engage, we'll find joy in it, and we will be comforted knowing that we will do it together. May it be so.
I invite you to rise as you're willing and able and to join in singing hymn number 10002, Comfort Me. And before we get to each verse, we'll pause as I share a spoken prayer written by Sherry Woodbury. Please note that if you're reading the hymnal, the verses have changed a little bit. The words will be correct on the screen. And we will end after the fourth verse. Please feel free to close your eyes if you know the song or if that feels right to you. Oh, my soul, at times the challenges I face are too much hardship, too much struggle, too much conflict between family and neighbors. Too much suffering in the world, on our screens and out of sight, but we know it is happening. And what shall we do? Can we bear the weight of it all? It is hard to be human, especially a soft-hearted human. Spirit of love, will you comfort me? And together we sing, Comfort Me.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
Oh, my soul, at times I feel alone, isolated, even if there are other people around me. It can be hard to share my inner world with others or to let them help me. But when we sing together, I feel others' presence. And I know that together we have enough caring to go around for everyone, including me. Gathered community, will you sing with me?
Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul.
Oh, my soul, sometimes I am just weary. When it's hard to get out of the bed in the dark morning, hard to face difficult tasks, hard to lift my foot or open my heart, I know I may need rest and fortitude. I may need to refill the well within me. Rest is a gift I will try to allow myself to have when I need it. My needs are important and I deserve rest. Oh, my soul, you can rest.
Rest with me.
Rest with me, rest with me, rest with me, oh my soul. Rest with me, rest with me, rest with me, oh my soul.
When I have been nourished with song, I grow stronger. When I have felt the presence of caring community around me, I feel more able to use my own power. When I have given my body and spirit the rest they need, I am renewed. And yes, my soul, when the light grows, and the light is growing, day by day like a green growing thing, I am ready to rise. In power and beauty, I return to the world and bring to it my love and my joy. Will you rise with me?
Rise with me.
Rise with me, rise with me, rise with me, oh my soul. Rise with me, rise with me, rise with me, oh my soul. had the honor to gather earlier this week on Wednesday with a group of my interfaith colleagues here in Pasadena for a vigil. This is the prayer that I offered in that space. And now I offer it to you as a benediction. We are at the edge of a precipice, one that we had hoped to avoid. Some of us may feel the vertigo tug at us. We fear falling in. Tenemos miedo de caernos. There are others amongst us who fear not the falling, but being pushed into that deep crevasse. This is not the first time in history that we, the marginalized, have been pushed to and over that stony brink. No es la primera vez en la historia que los marginalizados han sido forzados a acercarse al precipicio. This is not the first time, but it feels like the hardest because there is so much at stake. Hay demasiado en juego. We are here a sanctuary for one another. Somos un refugio, el uno para el otro. God, Goddess, Godex, of many names and no singular name, Spirit of life, Spirit of love, be with us now. Help us hold this sanctuary for ourselves and for others who might not be able to hold it for themselves. Ayúdanos a crear un refugio para nosotros mismos y para los otros que no pueden. For our beloveds who are gay, queer, gender nonconforming, gender exuberant, or trans, we affirm you. We love you. Para nuestros amados gay y trans, les amamos a todos. To our immigrant siblings, we are glad you are here. We are made better for you. We are you. We support you. We love you. Para nuestros hermanos inmigrantes, estamos agradecidos por su presencia. Los amamos a todos. For women and those of us with uteruses or bodies that face legislation and control, we honor you and we will fight with you. We love you. Para las mujeres y otras que tienen úteros, las amamos a todas. To our Black, Indigenous, and other siblings of color, we affirm that this is not your first betrayal. We celebrate you and we are accountable to you. We love you. Para nuestros hermanos indígenas y de color, los celebramos y los amamos. All of us here are a sanctuary against retribution, against control, against extermination. All of us here are a sanctuary to nourish, to fiercely love, and to fight for one another. Somos el refugio. Hoy lloramos, pero mañana haremos un plan de salvarnos del precipicio y de ofrecer protección para que los otros no sean empujados hacia abajo. Today we grieve, and tomorrow we make a plan to pull ourselves away from that precipice and to protect others from being pushed in. Bendita sea. Amen.